Audible's romance collection has something to satisfy every side of you. When it comes to what kind of romance you're into, you don't have to choose just one. Fancy a dalliance with a duke, or maybe a steamy billionaire. You could find a book boyfriend in the city and another one tearing it up on the hockey field. And if nothing on this earth satisfies, you can always find love in another realm. Discover modern rom-coms from authors like Lily Chu and Ali Hazelwood, the latest romantasy series from Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, plus Regency favorites like Bridgerton and Outlander. And of course, all the really steamy stuff. Your first great love story is free when you sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
Edit audio.
Hello, everyone. I'm Robin Hopkins, and this is Well Adjusting, where I talk to people about life stuff, but not in an NPR way. It's more like we're at the bar, having cocktails, getting into your business sort of way.
It's giving drunk NPR.
Oh, and producer Steph is here too.
Hello.
Today we chat, well, when it's time to take care of aging parents. Hi, friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today's topic, it's one of those conversations that not a lot of people really want to have, but it is completely necessary. And that's because it involves death, money, and making plans for our aging parents. So Xorje reached out to us and he wanted to talk about how his parents and their care may impact his relationship with his partner. Because after all, his partner didn't sign up to take care of Xorje's parents in their small, maybe not so gay friendly town in Texas. But here's the thing. Like any good conversation does here on Well Adjusting, things sort of unfolded and maybe expanded. And we found ourselves chatting about avoidance, family dynamics, communication, or sometimes that lack of, and dealing with the guilt that can come with that feeling that you're not doing enough. So let's just get right into it, because this truly is one of those topics that, we all have to deal with, yet so many of us are wholly unprepared for. But don't worry, we do this in a well-adjusting way. There's still some levity and a lot of fun in this conversation. Okay, let's get right to it. Hi, Xorje. All right, well, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Xorje Olivares. I am currently the host of a new video podcast for KQED, which is the NPR affiliate here in San Francisco. I've been in radio for almost 15 years now in some sort of capacity. I would say the vast majority of my career as somebody in media has been professionally as a gay person and as a Latino person. Those are very much tied to my identity. And so I like creating content. Oh, that sounds gross. I like doing things that I feel will benefit the people that sometimes look like me and sound like me.
Love it. I say, by the way, because I also skeeve myself out when I say creating content. So I say make stuff. That feels like very highbrow in my world. Mm-hmm. But in a nutshell, let's have you just say, what is the thing you want to pick apart today?
Yeah. So my parents are getting a bit older. My mother is about to turn 75 and my dad is only 65. So my mom is 10 years older than my dad. Right?
Girl.
And interestingly enough, like a lot of things have happened simultaneously. My mother's facing certain health issues. My dad just had to have a kidney removal surgery because of issues that he had been having. So earlier this year, I had to fly home and help out, because there's only one other sibling, and my sister is dealing with some of her own health issues as well. So I felt like as the only male child for my father, I needed to rush home to help out with some of the I don't necessarily want to say the icky things, but the male things, the stuff that would be very uncomfortable for my sister to have to deal with, and honestly would be uncomfortable for me to have to deal with, but at some point, you just have to grin and bear it. So as I was thinking about all of this, it reminded me that, that means I have to go back home. Where's back home? I grew up on the Texas-Mexico border. What does the Texas-Mexico border look like right now? Well, it is, currently dealing with a lot of political issues. There's a lot of still aftermath of the 2024 election taking place. It is not necessarily the most accepting and welcoming places for gay people.
Yeah.
I feel okay going home, but I definitely am more conscious of my actions and how I present when I'm back home. The difference, I would say, is when it comes to how this might impact somebody else in my life. Somebody else in my life who did not sign up to be in a seemingly homophobic environment, did not sign up to be, dedicating a good portion of their life helping my dad go to the bathroom. Like the things that I knew that I was going to have to do, but doesn't seem quite right to involve somebody else just yet when they haven't had to do that for their family or for their parents. So I think I was very much confronted with the, well, oh crap, like, how is it fair to somebody else who is now an extension of my family to be roped into this very difficult, heart-wrenching thing that wasn't theirs to be involved in to begin with? So it's been difficult.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're bringing this too, because, a lot of people your age this is what's going to start coming. Right. And so it's a really important topic. But I want to start by asking, so obviously you're talking, or maybe not, obviously you're talking about your partner.
Yes.
Okay, great. And are you guys whether you want to or not, are you married? Are you committed? Like, we might as well get right into your business.
Just open my closet. It's totally fine.
I'm here. Why not?
So we're engaged. We've been together for about 6.5 years at this point. Has come home to my home. Thank you. Has come to my hometown multiple times. Has obviously been around my family multiple times. And so it's not necessarily because I feel or I have been explicitly told that he does not want to help out. That's not it. It is, I feel like it's incredibly difficult. It's a difficult position that I have found myself in. Just saying that circumstances have allowed it to be. Nobody has forced anything on me.
Right, of course.
But when you have these two different variations of family now peeking through, where the family I grew up with and bore me and raised me are in need of certain things, but now this new family also is in need of certain things, including emotional safety, physical safety, wanting to feel like their own priorities are met. Yeah. While my parents are doing the same.
Well, it's like it becomes your primary family. Like your parents, for many, 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 many years, your parents were it, and that was your whole thing. But you've gone off and you've created your own family now, but that you still are tethered to your parents. So it's kind of like a passing of the torch kind of thing. But I'm already getting the impression that you're probably a very empathetic sort of person, because your partner has said nothing about being upset about this, right?
Oh, not at all. This is the cancer in me talking completely.
Okay, great.
This is the I'm trying to be diplomatic. I'm trying to make everybody happy.
You're already trying to help someone who's not even upset. Mm-hmm. Right. And I guess how they always talk about that advice of like, when you're mean to yourself, you're like, would you give that advice to your friend? Would you? So would your, if this situation was reversed and he came to you and he said, my dad just had this surgery and would you be like, well, I am very busy and this is highly inconvenient. And furthermore, that town is homophobic.
No, not at all.
Right.
I am probably the only person in my life, and this kind of goes beyond my relationship. It goes towards my friendships, my deep friendships, the folks that I've known at least over the past 10 years or so, is I am the only one that I know of that has a significantly deep of a relationship with my parents, because I grew up in such a small town and because my grandma lived 3 blocks away. My aunt lived 2 blocks away. It was very much rooted in family, and the foundation of my life has been built around family. It has been hard for me to just all right, I've grown up. Sorry. Thanks for everything. I've definitely created boundaries, but I'd say my boundaries are a little bit further away than most other people in my life. And because I'm a bit more lenient, there are a lot of things that I have said I would be comfortable doing. But now that I'm confronted with it, I'm like, oh crap, should I have made those walls? Should I have made those walls a little bit closer like everybody else to protect my adult self, my adult life from now being in this very uncomfortable position of not knowing what to do immediately?
With prices going up on just about everything lately, dealing with money can be stressful. If you listen to Well Adjusting, you know life is full of surprises, like moving to a new apartment or trying to set better boundaries. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Their dashboard lays out your total financial picture in a way that's easy to digest, and you can even create custom budgets based on your past spending. Rocket Money's 5 million members have saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, with members saving up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/budget today. That's rocketmoney.com/budget. rocketmoney.com/budget.
Are you scared or anxious about the state of bodily autonomy? Do you want to get involved in the fight? I'm Jenny Wetter, and I host the podcast Repros Fight Back. Each episode, I interview a guest about a specific topic across a wide range of issues, from abortion access to birth control to LGBTQ rights to abortion to gender-based violence to Project 2025. And did I mention abortion? We talk about what is happening around that topic and how you can get involved and fight back. If that sounds like your jam, make sure to check out Repros Fight Back on your favorite podcast platform.
Already what I'm hearing is just an absolute ton of inner dialogue, like huge conversations that you're having in here by yourself. And I'm just wondering, are you having those conversations outward with these people too? Because listen, I'm a parent, right? And if you were my lovely son, I mean, I would have had to have been really, really young when I had you, but that's fine. But let's just say I was, right? I would be like, listen, we're going to sort this out together. And if we need you, great. But if we can figure out how not to, I would not want you to upend your life if possible. I would never do that as a parent. And the fact that you're so close to your parents makes me think they're probably not thinking that way. And you've already said your partner's not necessarily thinking that way. So I'm just wondering, are you talking outwardly? And then there's a subset of that question, which is, if you are, does that soothe you in any way? And if you aren't, why not? So there's C. There's a lot of parts to that question.
So funnily enough, after my dad had this surgery, we kind of were only taking things day by day. It's like, oh, this needs to be changed. Let's do this. Oh, we need to go buy this. Okay, let's go do this. Dad needs help getting up from the couch to go to the bed. We need to do this. So there was no long-term thinking when we were just in recovery mode. So there was no conversation about caretaking then other than this has to get done.
Let's get through this situation.
Yes. But my parents have never once said, you need to move home to take care of us. We need to, if things go badly, either you move back home or you need to have a room for us. There's been no sort of cultural, there is that
no
cultural
assumptions.
Aspect. Yes. That cultural understanding that if you are Latino, I'll say specifically Mexican American, that you should make way for an elder parent to come live with you so that way you take up the responsibilities that they had when you were younger. There's never been any guilt tripping from my parents. But I think my problem is, and part of the internal dialogue that you're talking about, is I'm incredibly close with my sister. My sister, who unfortunately over the past year has had to deal with becoming a widow, having to deal with her own issues, that I feel a sense of even more responsibility that if there's only 2 siblings here, and by extension, if I include my partner, 3, that there's only so much that we can all do. And right now, my sister has her own things that she has to focus on.
Limitations, yeah.
She has limitations. And even with those limitations, she's been fantastic at helping my parents and my dad. So I feel like, who the hell am I to just be living my gay life here in San Francisco, enjoying the queer freedom, the adult freedom, and staying over here with this new family when my older family is struggling to a degree that I have yet to really fully witness because I am not there.
Right.
So it's a lot of the unspoken I mean, I'm sure my sister, if she could tell me to my face, because we have that kind of relationship, would be like, well, if I wasn't doing this alone. And I understand where that would be coming from. And in the absence of her telling me that to my face, I sense it. And I think that's what I continue to struggle with is I know that these conversations are being had by everybody, but nobody knows how to just say it aloud.
So, because we just did a 100th episode where we realized that I always say there's two things going on here, but I'm about to say it again. There's two things that are going on here.
Yes.
One is it feels like your guilt and your feeling of just like, I mean, you just said it so perfectly. Who am I to be out here living my best gay life and people are struggling? So there's like a sense of like duty and guilt and all of that that's over here. Okay. So let's just put that over here for a second. And then there's over here, which is the lack of communication that's happening with everyone. It feels like people are talking around it, near it. But I think that the very first thing is to begin to talk as a family and you as a person, because I bet you'd be surprised at like, how can you have compromise if you're not speaking? How can you figure things out if you're not talking? How can you, it's like, how many times do you hear someone say they died without a will and it was because I don't want to think about it. I don't want to do it. It's like, this is real life. Like people age, people get sick, people, start to become immobile. Like it is a real thing. So it's like, I would tell you, like, could you be the conduit to begin the discussion in your family? Like that might be one of the biggest ways you can contribute, which is by saying, hey, we're all going to sit down and we don't have to solve it today. Let's just talk about where we are and maybe what some plans are. Because like sometimes money is a conversation that kids aren't privy to. Insurance and benefits and things aren't a privy, like kids don't know, like whether your parents have care insurance, like that kind of thing. Like you got to know all that. And you have to start to build systems. And that's something you can do anywhere.
That's true. I think what I've recognized, at least now as a grown person, is just how avoidant we've always been as a family. And that's not necessarily because there's been something that has happened that has forced us to become avoidant. I think because we grew up in such a small town, we felt like everything could be simple. It really was an idyllic childhood for me. It was an idyllic household for me. Like it was a foundation of love and a household of love that it didn't require a lot of exposition. It didn't require a lot of like, oh, we have to have conversations about this and that. It just was.
Yeah.
And so I think we just held on to that and ran with it. And now that we've reached a point where it's like, oh, no, we probably do need to talk at length about, mom is now 75. What does that mean? Dad is now 65, but only with one kidney. What does that mean?
Yeah.
There's only two siblings, one of whom is having to deal with the loss of a partner. What does that mean? Yeah. And I feel like even though as much as what I've been talking about has been like, we haven't talked about anything and I don't know what's happening and the world's on fire, that we have been a bit more realistic about what is happening, the moment that we're in, and just like how much time is left to figure it all out because of how quickly things changed for my family over the last year with the loss of my brother-in-law, with the loss of another family member. Like the fact that those happened so suddenly, it made us realize like, oh, okay, so what is the plan with mom and dad? Yeah. Who does want a DNR? Are we talking about DNRs now? I think we have to talk about DNRs now.
By the way, yes, you do. Yes, you do. And you should be talking about trusts, and you should be talking about wills, and you should be talking about if they own their own home, like, can you move that stuff out of the estate now so that your dad has more and it doesn't all get taken up if she has to go into care? Like, these are all real conversations that are on the practical side that need to happen, maybe need to be project managed. Would you be comfortable putting together a good old fashioned spreadsheet, which producer Steph and I really love, that says we've got to make all these decisions from DNR to health proxies to finances to
so this is where I will bring in my partner. That is my partner's strong suit.
Yay.
And I feel like instead of the physicality of care, which I feel like I would be more than happy to do, that I could rely on my partner to do the, hey, can you do this? Can you do this Airtable for us about hi, what is the medication mom and dad are on? oh, what are the passwords for this account, that account? What's the name of the accountant?
Yeah.
Do we have a lawyer, a family lawyer? What's that person's name? What's their strong suit?
Do they have a will? Where is it?
Yes.
All these things.
Because I feel like my mother, like every baby boomer parent, she has all these important documents like in a Ziploc bag in some
in a fire safe that she got at the Home Depot.
Yes. So like I know that exists, but other than that, where's the other information?
Yeah.
So I think that is where I will incorporate him into the caretaking part of it, because I guess maybe this is an aha moment for me now, but like not realizing the levels of caretaking and how that is a component of it.
Yeah.
That it doesn't necessarily mean changing adult diapers, taking to the bathroom.
No, someone's got to be
showering.
doing the bank account. Yeah, someone's got to make sure the mortgage gets paid. And I'm glad that you brought it back around to your partner too, because I do want to come back to that, because I have a feeling it is over here in the feeling of like, I'm putting this thing on you. But I do want to just say this thing, like, I don't know about you, but like when I got married, that is what I said I was doing. Is I said I was going to be there for Mary, and I said that this was the family we were building, and that is part of the bag. We each have to work with each other's families, and they're different. We came from different places and grew up in different ways, so it's uncomfortable and different sometimes for us, but we do that. So it's like, I think you can project manage this side. You already talked about how you would work in partnership with your partner, but how do you let yourself out of the guilt of your partner?
I think the thing, again, getting older is so much fun because all this stuff that you never knew was happening behind the scenes is now front and center in your face, smacking the crap out of you.
Just wait until your knees go. It's great.
So realizing that we all speak different languages. So my family and I speak this avoidant language. We don't say things, but somehow we all, by osmosis, know what we're all thinking, and we can intuit what the other one wants or says or doesn't feel. My partner does not speak that language. So I'm over here saying like, my mom, XYZ, and he'll say, I don't remember her saying that. She didn't have to. I know exactly what my mother's trying to say here. Same thing with my sister. Oh, she didn't have to. I get that this is what she says. So I'm over here operating with one language. My partner's like, can you clue me in on like why you think this is how they feel or this is what they're saying? And I'm glad that because he's so involved in my parents, like he's in all the family chats, like he is very much a child for them because he has been around for so long. But I think they now see, oh, he doesn't get what we're saying. I think we need to say it. I think we need to be a bit more clear. And he's been very good about telling them, what are y'all doing here? What do you need to say? How can I be of help, or how can I be useful? How can your son be useful?
Oh, we like him.
He's great. And so again, all these things that because I am so ingrained in my family, even from afar, I haven't lived in the same town as my parents for half my life, but we have become so melded together because of how wonderful our relationship has been that I still talk like them and I still act like them. And it's a difficult thing to try to, well, I don't know if I necessarily want to leave it behind, but it's difficult to have these breakthroughs more readily.
Well, and in sickness or in times when you go back home, there's a regression. Everybody goes back to their roles, their defined roles, and it is difficult to all of a sudden be the evolved person you might be elsewhere.
It takes like practice too. Like I think every relationship, not even just the one you have with your parents, but like any relationship, you sort of like fall into a communication pattern and rhythm and like way you go about communicating with each other. And like with you and your parents, you have many, many years of that being one way. So like for you to come in and be like, hey, I made this spreadsheet for you to fill out. Like that's going to be fucking weird,
laugh me out of the house.
Exactly. But
completely.
like maybe for someone like your partner who's like, okay, well, this is how I communicate with 17 other people in my life that I love. Like, can you guys do this for me? Might be like an easier ask or an easier lift that doesn't feel like
Or I'm not suggesting you share the spreadsheet, but like you might be able to like get the information out and hold it in one place so everybody has it.
I
You
know,
and
the
your sister
project
have
manager
it.
in me wants to just like send a link to like a Google form and
I
be
know.
fill it out on your own time. And this is the due date.
I will need it by Thursday. Yeah.
I need it by Thursday.
I don't
and-
see that happening here.
The crazy thing is just recognizing more and more, as I did say that I am a Cancer, is how much I operate with emotion. And everything feels like an emotional conversation when it really needs to be a pragmatic conversation.
Sometimes, yeah.
And I am slowly starting to shift to that other side of things because in the aftermath of my brother-in-law's passing, saw how hard it was and how it is still very hard for my sister to see, like, I don't know the password to this. And why would he have told me? He was 39 years old. And I mean, obviously, death is a very crazy, unfortunate situation that who knows when it'll ever come. But I think as I see my parents getting older, there's only one way that is going to go. And I hate even saying it aloud because I don't want to think about who wants to think about that. But I hope over the next few weeks and months, I will begin to be able to kind of not necessarily leave the emotion, but don't drive by the emotion and say the things that need to be said practically.
I just want to ask you this question. Like, do you allow yourself to be supported?
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like even my parents are supporting me by not calling me every day to talk about aches and pains. And, they went to the doctor and they told them this and they told them that. The problem is I feel like my family is still trying to figure out how to communicate with their gay child. And I don't say that because, I've been out to them for 15 plus years at this point. But when I first came out, my dad said, the only reason I didn't want you to be gay was because I was afraid for your safety. And it's not an easy thing for your parent to have to recognize, like, at any point, my child's safety is out of my control and there's nothing I can do to protect them, especially because you live so far away. So as I mentioned, I've lived half my life away from my parents. I think they've learned to create distance and give me distance to be able to enjoy and live that queer life that I could not live back home. But in creating that distance, there's a lot of times where, again, as avoidant people, I'll get a text that's like, oh yeah, don't forget, we're going to the doctor in San Antonio because your dad needs this and this done. I'm sorry, wait, what? What is it getting done? Why didn't you tell me this? Like, there's so many different health complications, problems, or even just checkups that I'm not aware of. And I think it's because my parents are like, no. He needs to go do what he's doing. He needs to live his life. He needs to do the stuff that we know that we can't help him with right now. And in doing that, I've been the one who's like, what are you doing? Like this should all be a open air conversation about the little things.
Here's what I keep thinking about. I just keep getting a vision of you like the center of a spoke, like a bike wheel. But I also keep thinking about there are a million options. There is like a healthcare app where like you would have your parents' doctor's information, everything would go into it. It's shared among family members. Like all this stuff has like the logistics of it already been worked out because a lot of people have gone before you. That is not what's happening here.
Oh, yeah. Like I could easily, if it's financial assistance they need in this caretaking process, the fact that I can Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, whatever, like there's so many different options that are available to me that my mother did not have when her and her siblings were trying to figure out what to do with my grandmother when things were going south.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I mostly feel pressure on is the changing of dynamics in other relationships as caretaking happens.
Yeah.
So like, how is this impacting my relationship with my sister? How does this affect my relationship with my partner? How does this affect my partner's relationship with his parents? Because like, is he going to want to do similar things for them as I'm wanting to do for my parents?
Yeah.
How does this affect my parents' relationship with their own siblings? And like, who's helping out? Who's not? Who's missing? I think also to your point, like I could easily be included in an app where mom and dad's information is. Like I can have this information at my fingertips. I think it's just like I am having this conversation with you from beautiful San Francisco, and my dad's probably in the next couple of days on his way back to a kidney specialist appointment that I don't know that person's name. I don't know their recommendations. I don't know, what medicine he's going to prescribe to my dad, but my sister will.
Right.
And it's all, I can call, I could do all that stuff afterward to get updates. It's just, I'm always the secondary.
Well, like I don't mean to imply that these apps solve anything. I think my point of saying that the apps exist means that it's not about that. It's about like this thing of, and I know exactly what you're talking about having a house where you don't say the thing directly and like everybody's knows what people mean when they say it and it's like all unsaid. But it's like the guilt or talking.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see you break the mold a little, and it'll be uncomfortable. And to Steph's point, there'll be a lot of practice to sit with your sister and just say, I'm having a lot of guilt and I'm feeling really badly. And I'm worried that you're taking on and I only know it after. Like, what can I do? Or are you mad at me? Or can we talk about this? Like, and just like be the one, who says the thing. Like that commitment to be the one who says the thing is every bit as important as the person who drives the person to the appointment, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone in your family, at least in my family, like everyone was so grateful. I have like different family dynamics, but very like avoidant people, like not talking about the elephant in the room. I asked my parents for probably 6 years about their wills before they ever answered me. Like every single time I saw them.
Mm-hmm.
And I would come to it from a place of like, I don't want this to ruin my relationship with my siblings. My siblings are super important to me. You are going to die. And we all know that. But like, I have seen the way that money and just like heightened conflict and everything gets like wrapped up and like messed up when people die. And I don't want to deal with that. So I want to deal with it now, slowly, while you're still here, where everyone is in the loop on what's going on when you're going to pass. And then whatever, like no one's going to be surprised.
I think my father and my mother are completely different when it comes to the idea of death. My dad has always said, when I die, whatever, it's going to happen. There's things you can do, there's things you can't do. And a part of me really appreciates that and respects his viewpoint on that. That as much as there's going to be emotions tied to death and emotions tied to like what goes on afterwards, that sometimes you just have to accept the fact that it is an act that happens and you move on. However difficult that moving on can be. I think my difficulty in approaching this moment and having these conversations is I don't like the idea of saying aloud, Mom, I know you're going to die. Dad, I know you're going to die.
Yeah.
And in order to prepare myself for you dying, I need to do this. I need to do that. My sister and I need to do this together. Where's the documentation that says, when you die, this is what happens? And so just like saying the
It's
word
hard.
die.
Yeah.
Just now, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Not necessarily that I want to put that energy out into the universe because I'm not that woo-woo of a person, but like,
It's just a very hard thing to say.
It is. And especially in the aftermath of the past year, where my family was confronted with death in such an ugly, visceral way. I think as much as we hated that moment, because who could not hate that moment, it really was a turning point for us in being able to say the word death and die a lot. And what happens when people you love die? What happens when you're not ready when they die? What happens when the grief that you're experiencing is compounded because of the inability to do regular things like, I can't pay this bill because I don't know whose name the bill was under. I can't change ownership of something because it all happened too quickly.
Because Netflix is under blah, blah, blah's account and the bill wasn't paid or whatever. It's like...
It's always the small things.
But what you're saying is kind of like what I was saying to my parents, which was that like, it's not a burden if we talk about things now. It will become one if we have to do it while we're grieving.
Yes.
And like, no one is their best self while they're grieving. So I think like maybe not approaching it the same way as I did, because I'm like a pretty direct person, but like
I need it.
Or the words were like a little harsh, but I think coming at it from a place, because that's
like
the emotion
life is changing, that kind of stuff.
And your parents want that for you, and they feel that too. Like they can feel that with the loss of your brother-in-law, I'm sure, and I would imagine they don't want to put that on you.
Yeah.
And I also, and I hope I'm not being too direct with all of this, because it's like you just spent all this time talking about how you're in this really indirect family. I'm like, did you this? Did you that? So sorry if I'm being too, but I can't be any other way. So apologies. But I keep thinking about this idea. Like I felt this way when my parents went through it. It was like, okay, it's my turn now. And now I live far away like you. So my turn didn't necessarily mean that I was moving to North Carolina. Like that was not going to happen. But I did everything that I could, and I went every time I could, anytime I was called, anytime I was asked, anything they needed from me that I could do as like data entry, anything. Like I have other skills that I can do to help. And then the situation was such that we didn't have to go there. We were really fortunate in that way. But like to Steph's point, without setting things up, you might be in a position like the uncomfortable thing that's in the room is if you don't get over that uncomfortable thing, you're making your life 100 times worse. And it will be harder. And I just want to say that like, also like we started talking about your partner, but I think it's more about like your feelings about this, or it feels that way anyway. But I think he's there and he's this amazing person that can support you. So to me, it sounds like you have that support, and that part is good, because that is what marriage is. Like, you know, if you are able to, try not to worry about him right now and just take care of yourself, because the seesaw of a relationship will shift, and there will be many times where that is your job for him. You know, it's like allow yourself. That's what I meant by, do you allow yourself to be supported? I meant like, don't worry about him if you are able to. He's there. He's got it. He's holding your hand. He's helping you. And he's saying to all of your family, hey guys, can we talk about this? Like, really talk about it? Like he's saying the things that are helpful to you, and you will do that for him.
Oh, believe me, I completely understand that this is all about the ladder of life that I have yet to figure out how to climb. Like the ladder's in front of me, and I've been on one step of the ladder, and I'm already fearful of the rest of the ladder. Then I'm like, I think I'm going to stop here for a little bit, which obviously is not good, because to your point, I think because of the fear of discomfort, we are only exacerbating the discomfort to come.
Yeah.
And I see it. And I know that I have a thing to do to change that. But again, I just see in huge red neon letters like death, 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 death.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think I'm just going to ease back a little bit.
And by the way, that's okay. You can stay in that rung for a while. Like you're not at, you know, God forbid, some really like terminal stage of something. Like you're not there now. You're just like in a planning phase. And look, if at the end of the day, you guys don't move money into a trust that helps save $12 in taxes, then so be it. You know what I mean? You'll get done what you get done. Like some of it is just going easier on yourself. Stay on that rung for a bit. Just maybe don't stay forever.
I'm glad you said it, because I think the way I've ever been approaching it for this conversation is the long-term caregiving, like, oh, we are now ushering somebody towards the end, as opposed to like the bouts of caregiving that sort of show up.
Yeah.
I feel like all of this feels so difficult because I want to honor the fact like, oh shit, I had it so good. And because I had it so good, it only makes sense that I would try to make this new stage of our lives as good.
Yeah.
As weird as that sounds, like as good as it can be.
Or as comfortable as it can be.
Comfortable as it can be. And
that can be like the fuel, I think. Like that's the part of the emotional conversation you can bring, I think, to your parents. Like you guys raised me so well, and I had such a beautiful childhood. Like I feel like now it's partially my duty to like take some responsibility and make this like a beautiful end of life for you. And I don't think that all has to be logistics. Like, I don't know, me and my mom are planning a vacation together in a year and a half, which Jesus take the wheel. But like that could be really exciting and really fun.
There
And,
could
you know,
be
that
some
was
bucket list
part
things
of
in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was part of things that we wanted to do. You know, now that she's getting older, it's not before she dies, before she loses mobility, before blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like we're going to a place she wants to go. So I don't know if that's helpful at all, but like adding in some sprinkles of like fun, exciting things that maybe you guys can do
absolutely,
together.
I've told my parents, like, hi, now you have to plan for a wedding. You need to do everything to stay healthy and safe and mobile. And like, if it means being one of those mall walking women, Mom, you have
Then
to be
so
one of
be
those
it.
mall walking women.
Hell
Like,
yes. And buy me the sweatbands. Like I'll be there in
Yes.
the mall.
Well, I feel like, Steph, you're starting to kind of move into like our homework-y section. And I feel like for me, it would be really simple. I think I want you to go somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000,000% easier on yourself, because I think that you are, you know, as thoughtful as you are in this conversation, that is going to be how you are with them. And that is going to, especially like that is going to show up in all of your actions and all of the ways that you talk to them and all the things you're trying to do and all the care in which you're coming at them with. And they will feel that and they will know that, because that is the primary way you all communicate. So I want you to go easier on yourself, and I want you to not worry about your partner. And I want you to rest on the rung of the ladder that you're on right now. However, you're not getting away without a however.
Oh, no.
I would like, there's this document, and I'm going to see if I can find it for you. It was this woman whose husband died suddenly. And it was something like shit I need, or, you know, before death or something. It was like a very funny, like Word doc. And I had it at one point, then I lost it, whatever. And then I created my own version of it with account numbers, with passwords, and with all of that stuff. I'd love it if you would use something like that. Make it your own and set a deadline for when you will start it. Because some of the work that I think you need to do is just accepting and becoming comfortable with starting.
Yeah.
Like it's
I
like,
want that document.
yeah, right, I'll find it. I will find it. Because the longer that you sit in this space, the only person that you're harming is yourself, Xorje. It's like you are taking all
for
this
sure.
on. So it's like, just it doesn't have to be today. You take some deep breaths, you take some rest, but like soonish, you set a hard date and you start working on that stuff and just go, I've got this doc. Every time I talk to them, I'm going to get one bit of information. And they don't need to know that you're doing it. And then you could tell your sister and you could share it and you could say, this is, and have a conversation with your sister. Those are my homeworks. Like, I want you to relieve yourself of some of the guilt and just ask her, you know, are we okay? Do you need more from me? You know, I can't be there, but tell me how I can help from here.
Yeah. I will take these. I know that I
Thank
feel
God. Woo.
No, this like the idea of doing it one bit at a time. I think because I recognize how momentous of a moment this is in our transition towards being prepared and unprepared, that like I think my soul wants to do it all at once, just to like get it over with and like pull the Band-Aid off as quickly as possible, when that might not be the best approach.
Which, by the way, was
It's too much.
fully me being like, we need to talk about your will right now. Like, it did not come from a healthy place. So I don't think that's like the type of conversation you should have. I just think like you are going through this transitional moment as a family, and that is also something to be recognized. And you can like be gentle to yourself, because that's a really hard thing that you're all going through together, but also be like, okay, and what can I do with this that's going to protect my future self?
Yeah.
I want to tell like a little story. Can I? It's short.
What if I was like, no, and I just hit stop and left?
Honestly, I'd kind of love that power move. My little story is that my mom is very avoidant, and I got a call from my sister like, I don't know, months and months ago now, and she's like, Mom's in the hospital. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, she's been in the hospital all day and she hasn't told us. It's like 7 p.m. at night. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I call my mom like 45 times. She doesn't answer. I call like 6 of her friends whose numbers I've acquired after her doing shit like this for literally the last 15 years. Whatever. I finally get a hold of her and she's like, yeah, I fully lost vision all of a sudden. And I'm like, what, bitch? Like, are you for real? Like, she's like, yeah, I fully lost vision. I've been in the hospital for 12 hours. I haven't been able to see out of one of my eyes completely, and the other one I can kind of see out of. And I was like, okay, like go through all the logistics. I'm a very calm and like the wake of chaos type person. So I go through all the logistics. I'm like, great, next time, like, let's talk about this sooner, blah, blah, blah. I love you. I'm going to do a check-in in half an hour, 1 hour, and 2 hours from now. So these are all the people I've looped in, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I hang up the phone. I full panic. I'm like, my mom has lost vision. Not only is like her vision never coming back, she has some other issue that I've made up in my head. Also, now I'm like, I live in a different fucking country. My siblings live in a different country. Like, what do I do? We have to move. I have to move to my mom's house. I have to move in with my mom now for the rest of my life. Like, this is the anxiety spiral I'm creating. Okay. So I'm like, all right, I'm like talking to my partner. I'm like, I think we have to move like to outside of Toronto now. Like, I can't do that. I can't run my company from there. I can't be like a gay person there. Like, blah, blah, blah. A week later, my mom has vision recouping. It will go away at some point completely. And that is a reality I have to deal with. Put a pin in that. Like 2 weeks later, my partner, who is from Houston, very close with their family, trans, visibly trans, has a lot of the same feelings about being that South around like personal safety. And they were like, this is a conversation we should have. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. I'm still panicking about my mom. And they're like, well, if my parents needed us to like move, like if my mom needed us, like we would move to Texas. And I was like, abso-fucking-lutely not, we would. I am not living in Texas. I will not live in Texas. I love you. I want to be with you forever. I am not moving to Texas, ever. Like, point blank. And they were like, what? And it was this, like, truly the only, like, quabble we've gotten in our entire relationship was about whether or not I would ever move to Texas. And I am going on about guns and my family living in a different country that's further away from Texas and blah, blah, blah.
It's like you're reading from my diary.
And then, whatever. The conversation calms down. We come back to each other. I'm like, just so you know, like, if your mom was really sick, of course I would move to Texas. Like, I would for sure be there, like, taking care of her and, like, changing her shitty diapers and, like, doing whatever she needed. Like, we would figure it out together. And that's all my partner wanted to hear. And that's all I wanted to hear from my mom was like, okay, I don't have to spiral about this inevitable future that is for sure worse in my brain than it is on paper. I just want to know that, like, we can communicate and, like, figure it out as a team. And I did the same shitty thing that my mom did to me, to my partner. And I'm just saying this in a big loop around way that is like, it is truly about having like a team with you to figure it out rather than it is about actually the problem. Because like all of us on this call right now are sweet angel babes who like, if anyone needs us, like we're going to be there. I can tell you that. Like, I barely know you. I could have told you that in like the first 3 minutes of you talking that like you're going to be there and your partner's going to be project managing. It's going to be a whole thing. Like the logistics are not the issue. The issue is that like there has to be like a conversation and a teamwork aspect to it. So
you have to be playing the same sport if we're going to get,
yes.
I'm going to get all lesbian. Like you, like you can't be playing baseball while your sister plays football. Like you have to be on the same rules, the same, pitch, whatever. You've got to be, otherwise a lot of assumptions get made.
Yeah. But having the conversation start with like, I want to be on the same team as you to figure this out. Like, what can I be doing? How can I be coming? Like, I friggin' wish I did that to my mom, and I wish that I was like that with my partner instead of being like, absolutely not. There are guns and snakes. Like,
I mean, as has probably been evident by how I've been talking over the past hour, I try to think of what is possibly going to happen if we go down 4 different routes. And so I'm holding all of those, like option A, option B, option C. Can't forget option D, because option D is also going to be very important should the first 3 fuck over. And because I'm more big picture minded, I forget like, no, we just need to take a step here.
That's it.
We can't even go down A, B, C, or D yet if you haven't moved your fucking foot. So I think that has been part of the feeling immobilized.
My tiny homework is just to recognize whenever you feel that like tightness or like afraidness, to recognize that it has nothing to do with like the moment, but it is like about something deeper. And I don't know, like Robin uses this like stop technique, which I feel like we talk about in every day. I was going to talk about
the snapping of the rubber band.
Yeah, snapping of the rubber band, whatever it is, so that like you start to like pattern recognize like, okay, that's not about, you know, this. It's not about like whether or not they have an IRA or whatever the frig. It's about like my uncomfortability with like this guilt that I feel or lack of support from blah, 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 or whatever it is. And just separating those so that then when they show up, they don't feel like one cluster of ick. It's like little separate things that you can decipher.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, clusters of ick.
Clusters of ick.
Just making note
my
of
new
that.
metal band.
COI. The list has been so lovely, Xorje, though. It really has been. And it's such an honor that you allowed us to chat with you about this, because it's so evident the love that's in your family. And I think if you've got to go through a problem like this, like you're all going through it together. And I have such faith that you'll find your way when you guys start talking. I really do.
Aw,
Me too.
Thank you.
So, folks, after that conversation, I did some digging and I found that resource that I mentioned in the interview. The organization is called Get Your Shit Together, and you can find them at getyourshittogether.org. Now, looking at that website, it really got me thinking about the fact that a lot of us, we don't want to think about death and plans for care, but it is going to happen to all of us eventually. So I think we got to make ourselves. I say, begin those conversations with your family, folks. Hit up that website where there are tons of free resources, including a checklist of what you need to handle to be prepared. Consider talking to a financial advisor to protect assets. You know, that kind of thing needs to be done at least 5 years before someone goes into care. Be aware of family dynamics and how, you know, suddenly you and your sibling might be talking to each other like your teens, arguing over who gets to hold the clicker. Get support so you're not facing this alone, especially if you're an only child. And if you are a parent like me and you are listening, consider the burden that you could be putting on your kids if you don't get your shit together. And I say that this conversation with Xorje is a reminder that while I've done some of this, I have not finished that checklist. So I am committing you should too. Let's get our shit together, folks. All right, that is it for today. Thank you so much to Xorje for sharing his story with us and, you know, just being willing to talk through this incredibly important topic. For more Robin, and you may need that, you probably don't need it, but like if you do, you can follow me at Real Rob Hops on all the platforms, all the socials, as the kids today say. Well Adjusting is an Edit Audio original series. It's exec produced by Steph Colburn and Robin Hopkins. Our producer and editor is Maria Passingham, and our production manager is Kathleen Speckert. Thank you to the entire Edit Audio team and to you for listening. Oh, hey, before you take out those AirPods, this show is just for entertainment. If you are in need of help, please, please, please reach out to a professional. Go ahead and get that help. You deserve it.
Wherever you go, whatever they get into, from chill time to everyday adventures, protect your dog from parasites with Credelio Quattro. For full safety information, side effects, and warnings, visit CredeliaQuattroLabel.com. Consult your vet or call 1-888-545-5973. Ask your vet for Credelio Quattro and visit QuattroDog.com.